Have you ever thought about death? Sometimes it can seem a little scary, but a famous poet, Emily Dickinson, wrote a poem. This poem shows death in a very different way. She invites us to see death not as an enemy. Instead, death is presented as a kind guide. It's a gentle journey, not a frightening end. This poem helps us feel calm and thoughtful. In her poem, Because I Could Not Stop for Death, Emily Dickinson shares a unique vision. She imagines death as a polite gentleman. He arrives in a carriage not with a scythe. This is a very different picture from what we often see. Death is not rushing or forceful here. He is patient and shows great civility. This kindness changes how we might feel. It makes the idea of dying seem less alarming. The poem begins with a simple, calm statement. The speaker says she could not stop for death, so death kindly stopped for her. This sets a tone of peaceful acceptance. There is no struggle, no fear in her words. It's as if she is ready for this journey. Death is not an interruption but a knowing visitor. This gentle start prepares us for a gentle story. Dickinson's approach is truly remarkable. She takes a subject that often causes anxiety, and she transforms it into something serene. The poem doesn't focus on sadness or loss. Instead, it highlights a quiet, orderly transition. We are invited to look at life and its end. We see it as a natural, peaceful process. This gentle invitation is what makes the poem so special. The journey with death starts in a carriage. This carriage holds just the two of them, at first. Death is the driver, calm and unhurried. The speaker seems comfortable, not afraid. He knew no haste, she tells us, and she had put away her work and her fun. This shows she is ready for this new experience. It is a slow, deliberate and respectful ride. Soon they are not alone in the carriage. A third passenger joins them. Immortality. This is a very interesting companion for such a ride. Immortality suggests that this journey is not an end. It hints at something beyond earthly life. Having immortality there changes everything. It means the soul continues, even after death. This idea brings a sense of hope and peace. Death's politeness is a key part of these first moments. He is not a terrifying figure, but a gentleman. He kindly stopped for the speaker. This personification makes death approachable. It helps us to put aside our usual fears. The journey feels like a gentle outing. It is not a descent into darkness. Instead, it's a passage with a courteous guide. The speaker's willingness is also important. She has put away my labor and my leisure too. This means she has accepted the end of her worldly activities. There is no resistance, only a quiet surrender. This acceptance makes the journey peaceful. It's a journey everyone must take, eventually. Dickinson shows it as a dignified passage. The carriage ride is calm, gentle, and profound. As the carriage travels, they pass by scenes of life. These scenes are like memories passing before her eyes. First, they pass a school where children played. The children were at recess, in the ring. This represents the early stage of life, childhood. It's a time of innocence, play, and learning. The image is vibrant, full of youthful energy, a reminder of where life's journey begins for us all. Next, the carriage moves past fields of grain. The poem describes fields of gazing grain. This grain is likely mature, ready for harvest. It symbolizes adulthood, the prime of life. This is the time of work, growth, and productivity. The gazing grain might suggest a life lived fully. It's a tranquil image of life's middle chapter, a time of fullness before the decline begins. Then they pass the setting sun. The sun dipping below the horizon is a powerful symbol. It clearly represents old age, the end of life's day. The light fades, just as life begins to wane. This image is not sad or scary in the poem. Instead, it's a natural part of the cycle. The setting sun brings a sense of completion. It marks the gentle close of a life well lived. These three images, the school, the grain, the sunset, are very important. They show the journey of life from beginning to end. Dickinson uses these simple pictures beautifully. They help us reflect on our own lives. The carriage ride becomes a metaphor for our journey through time. Each stage is passed calmly, without rush. Death, the kind escort, guides the way. It's a thoughtful look at the passage of life. As the sun sets, the atmosphere begins to change. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill. This suggests a shift from the warmth of life. A coolness sets in, a different kind of feeling. The physical world feels less present now. This change signals they are nearing something new. It is a subtle transition, not an abrupt one. The speaker notices her clothing is thin. She says her gossamer, my gown, my tippet, only tulle. Gossamer and tulle are very fine, delicate fabrics. They are not clothes for warmth or protection. This could symbolize her unpreparedness for this chill. Or perhaps it signifies her spirit, unburdened by earthly things. Her physical body is becoming less important. She is moving towards a more ethereal existence. They pause before what seems to be a house. This house is described as a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, and the cornice, in the ground. This is a gentle, almost respectful description of a grave. It's not called a grave directly at first. This softens the image, making it less stark. It's presented as a dwelling, a place of rest. This moment marks a significant point in their journey. The carriage ride, symbolic of life, is reaching its end. The house is the final earthly stop. The chill and the thin clothes emphasize the transition. It's a move from the known world to something else. Dickinson handles this with her usual grace. There is no fear, only quiet observation. The journey continues towards its final, peaceful pause. Emily Dickinson's description of the grave is quite unique. She calls it a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. This language makes the grave seem less frightening. A house is a place of shelter, of belonging. It's not a cold, empty hole in the earth. By calling it a house, she gives it a sense of peace. It becomes a final resting place, a home for the soul. This changes our perspective in a gentle way. The details of this house are also telling. The roof was scarcely visible. The cornice in the ground. These lines paint a picture of something humble. It is integrated with the earth, part of nature. It's not a grand mansion but a simple dwelling. This simplicity adds to the feeling of peace. Death leads to a quiet, unassuming abode. This idea of the grave as a house is comforting. It suggests that death is not a void. Instead, it's a transition to a different kind of home. The soul finds a place to reside. This can make the thought of death less unsettling. It's a place of rest after life's long journey. The imagery is soft and understated. It avoids harsh words or scary pictures. Dickinson's choice of words is very deliberate. She wants us to see the grave differently, not as a place of decay, but of quiet continuance. The swelling of the ground sounds natural, almost organic. It's as if the earth itself is providing shelter. This gentle description is central to the poem's tone. It helps to create an atmosphere of tranquility. The final resting place is portrayed as peaceful and secure. After they pause at this house, the poem shifts. The speaker reflects on the time that has passed since. She says, "Since then, 'tis centuries and yet feels shorter than the day." This is a very profound idea about time and eternity. Hundreds of years have gone by. But in this new state, time feels different. It's as if earthly measurements no longer apply. Eternity has a different rhythm, a different pace. This concept of time changing is fascinating. In life, a day can feel long or short. But centuries feeling shorter than a day? This suggests a state beyond our usual understanding. Perhaps in eternity, time as we know it ceases to exist, or it flows in a way we cannot comprehend while alive. The speaker is now outside of human time. She is in a timeless realm with immortality. The final lines of the poem confirm this. She first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. This means she realized their journey was not just to the grave. The ultimate destination was something much larger. Eternity is not a place but a state of being. It is endless, timeless, and peaceful. The grave was just a pause, a doorway. The real journey continued beyond that point. Dickinson's vision of immortality is not one of grand events. It is a state of perpetual calm and timelessness. The centuries pass like moments. This suggests a release from the pressures of time. There is no rush, no waiting, no impatience. It's a peaceful existence, stretching on forever. The poem leaves us with this sense of serene eternity. Death, the kind guide, has led her to this endless peace. Emily Dickinson uses wonderful tools to tell her story. One key tool is personification. She gives human qualities to death. Death is not a scary skeleton but a kindly gentleman. He is civil and drives his carriage slowly. This makes death seem less like an enemy. It makes him a companion on a significant journey. This changes our whole feeling about the experience. The poem also has a gentle, calm tone. There are no loud shouts or cries of fear. Everything happens quietly and in an orderly way. The language is simple yet very powerful. Words like kindly, slowly, and civility create this mood. Even the description of the grave is soft. This gentle tone helps us feel peaceful. It encourages a reflective and calm state of mind. There is also a subtle irony in the poem. We usually think of death as something to avoid. We see it as the end of everything. But Dickinson presents it as a polite caller. She shows it as a journey towards eternity. The biggest irony is that this journey with death is actually a journey with immortality. This turns our expectations upside down in a comforting way. Emily Dickinson's poem offers a beautiful gift. It helps us to think about death differently. She shows it not as a terrifying end, but as a peaceful transition, a gentle journey. The carriage ride with death becomes a symbol of passing from one state of being to another. The poem leaves us with a sense of calm and acceptance. It suggests that death, like life, can have its own quiet grace.